Hope you guys had a great trading session out there today. Let me give you a little rundown of what's going to happen on today's show. I've had a lot of comments and questions about this Dogecoin thing. Everyone's freaking out about it, and they're making it sound like it's the next big Bitcoin. I will talk a lot about that with facts, figures, and numbers. Why numbers? Because I got a math tie on today. I have a full math suit. When I actually created the cryptocurrency class for Online Trading Academy, I wore this awesome math suit. It's all just covered in formulas and ratios. And when you think about what cryptocurrency is, that's all it is. It's just math and numbers. So we'll talk a lot about that today. I have some charts and figures to show you, and hopefully shed some light on what Dogecoin is, maybe why it's important, and you make the decision whether you want to invest in it or not, regardless of what Elon Musk is telling you to do. That said, I want to give a big shout out and a happy belated birthday to Tomasino, who's here with us today. I saw it was your birthday, and I didn't get a chance to wish you happy birthday. So, hey, you know what? I won't message you. I'll just say it right here on the camera. So happy birthday to you. And hello to our big group. We've got a whole bunch of people with us today, and some new faces. If you are new, do me a favor, click that subscribe button so you see when we do our shows, which is every day live at 2 p.m. Pacific time. All right, let me dive into it. I didn't ask my friend for permission to post this one, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be okay with it. Obviously, the topic is this Dogecoin, breaking down the hype. And my buddy from NorCal, who has some wonderful friends who are, I say that sarcastically, but they are continually, it sounds like, telling him to buy specific things. They told him to buy GameStop, which he responded to. He actually sent me a message and said, hey, what are your thoughts on this? I know you're in that industry, etc. And I said, you're effing crazy. This is pretty much what I said. And I'm like, you know what? You buy what you want, but this stock deserves to be at 10 to 30 bucks, not 300. Don't buy it. And luckily he didn't. Now he sent me a message today saying, hey, they're telling me now to buy Dogecoin. Here's the exact text. I'm being told to buy Doge. It's super cheap, and I'm being told that when Bitcoin hits $50,000, Doge will take off. What say ye? Well, Sean, I'm glad you sent me this question because it gave me some a nice talk track for today and an idea to do this show on. First off, I want to explain to everybody what Dogecoin is, and then we'll talk about the statement there of if Bitcoin gets to 50,000, which it could do by the end of the show, the way that thing is moving. All right, if you go back into 2012, 2013, there was a very popular meme going around. Memes are just little, take a graphic and add some funny text to it or something humorous. There's a very popular one going around with this little Shiba Inu dog, and it would just say like, wow, or sunshine, or sprinkles and rainbows, it was a joke, right? It's just there to have some entertainment factor. 2013, these guys even said it was a joke between them. The guy who started it was basically setting up these memes, and someone says, oh, you should make it into a cryptocurrency. And so he bought the domain name Dogecoin and didn't make the cryptocurrency. This was an Adobe software engineer, Jackson Palmer, so I got the names for you as well. Alex, he's starting to, hopefully he'll join us here today and welcome him to the fold of this show. Then all of a sudden a guy from, I believe it was in Seattle, his name was Billy Marcus, who's a software engineer for IBM, said, hey, I'm really interested in cryptocurrency. Why don't we merge your meme humor thing and we'll just build a cryptocurrency token around it? Hey, there's the idea. So that idea was born, and obviously it took off. It's gained a lot of popularity, but there's a lot of different things about Dogecoin that you need to know about and need to be aware. First off, I have, I think, 16 holdings in cryptocurrencies right now. I don't own one Dogecoin. I did early on just when I was just playing around and trying to figure out what crypto was, and I realized it was a joke. I didn't want it. So let me go and show you some numbers here. I was going to take some time and actually do this on a reveal so you guys could see kind of one by one what they look like, but I'm putting them all up here all at once. And I'm going to address the first part here, which Sean said, it's cheap. So you notice here under the price column, and I'll click on it, and hopefully it highlights that box, and that's not by highlighting it, but under the price column, you look at Dogecoin, you're thinking, oh, it's 7 cents. Awesome, right? 7 cents, that means I can buy a lot of it. And this is something that you have to break yourself of, is this belief system that because something is cheap, it's going to run up to the price of Bitcoin down there at the bottom of $47,000. It is not going to go to $47,000 on Dogecoin. Now, when we look at the reason why Sean and others are buying Dogecoin is because they want to make a quick buck, right? People are looking to just get rich quick, and it's irrefutable if you look at the price charts. I've experienced tremendous gains in my Ethereum, in my Litecoin, in my Bitcoin over the past couple of months. But when you look at what Dogecoin has done in that same period of time, None of them come close to it, right? It's up over 1,000%. There's your chart of Dogecoin going back into January 28th when it really started to rocket. You know, it went from a low on the 28th of 3 cents, right? That's a nice one. Yeah, 3 cents, and now it's reached a peak just a couple of days ago. It hit a high of 8, almost 9 cents. You know, obviously there's opportunity in there, but this is hype, and this is really largely fueled by Elon Musk, and we'll talk about that as well here in just a second. So now that you see why everyone's running to this, and this is the common trader fallacy. People will buy something because, oh my gosh, it's up 1,000%. And then somebody will create this belief system, right or wrong, in this case, it's absolutely wrong, that Dogecoin will be $47,000 a coin. People are saying it's going to be $1. Yeah, I don't think so. So let me go back to this chart here and explain the spreadsheet a little bit more. So right now you're looking at Dogecoin is trading about 7 cents. Now it has one thing going for it which I do like, and that is its settlement, right? Settlement, guys, is the transaction time, how long it takes for transactions to process on that specific network. And I actually, if you look at this list here, it's near the top, right? The fastest one out here is going to be EOS, which is about 1 second. Ripple does it in about 4 seconds. And this is how long it would take for you to make a transaction and for it to process on the blockchain. Doge is 1 minute, right? You know, you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin's 10 minutes. Why is this important? Because if you're like me or Brendan or others in this room, if you take a step back and think of what are the prospects for the cryptocurrency industry as a whole, this is why Elon Musk has been tweeting so much about it, is because he actually believes, as I do, that the future of the world will be a cryptocurrency environment, meaning we will all be doing digital transactions. There will be no fiat paper money floating around. All those $100 bills I've got stashed and hidden around the house, they'll be worthless at some point unless I'm doing straight black market activities, which I don't need to do because I'm not doing anything illegal. Other than that, you'll need something to process transactions. Now, if you look at the Bitcoin number here, look, there's no way you're going to want to use Bitcoin and go down to your Starbucks and buy a cup of coffee and wait for 10 minutes for it to clear so you can pick your coffee up off the counter. 10-minute settlement time here. And it says 10 minutes, but realistically, it's going to be more like 30 because they wait for it to run multiple blocks. Each block on Bitcoin is 10 minutes. They'll probably wait to 3 or 4 or 5 confirmations. Now you're waiting an hour. So Bitcoin will never be the major transactional layer. Maybe with things like Lightning Network, which we can get to later, can speed up that process. But Bitcoin really is going to be the store of value. That's why everyone loves it. If you look at the other ones here, if you think from a transactional perspective, which one's going to be the currency that we might be using? Well, of this list, I would say will probably be EOS, because EOS has transactions that are 1 second or less. I mean, it's almost instant. To me, that's what you need in the global consumption community. That said, 1 minute isn't too bad. Now, what's the other piece that's bad about this? You notice there's a couple red boxes here. One of the things that makes Bitcoin so attractive to me, which is why I have the math tie on today, is Bitcoin has a finite number. You see that column says max, right? 21 million. It's the smallest number on this list down at the bottom. 21 million may seem like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, if you look at, billions of people, if every one person tried to own a Bitcoin's going to be at, $1 million a pop. It's going to be skyrocketing. So, look at the ones above it, Litecoin. So remember, Litecoin is just 4 times Bitcoin, so it's 84 million coins. Ripple has 100 billion with a B, folks. That's why I'm always skeptical on that one. But Ethereum, EOS, and Dogecoin have no limit. This is called inflation. This is the problem with the US dollar, is we are continually making more. And what it does is it devalues an asset class over time. So what you have here in the situation with Dogecoin and Dogecoin, EOS, and Ethereum is a system where that yield curve is not functioning as it normally would. We have demand increasing for these assets. People right now are jumping on that crypto bandwagon, whether it's you and me as retail investors or institutional guys, which are now starting to pile on. Thank you, Elon Musk. We appreciate that. You also have the effect of increasing the supply. Now, why has Bitcoin been going crazy lately? Well, certainly there's more institutional investment, but you also have a scenario where the supply is not increasing. And my argument is supply is actually decreasing because people are losing their private keys. So Dogecoin doesn't help itself as a store of value here. It'll keep kind of deflating the value of the currency simply by the emission of new currency, and it does about 5 billion new Dogecoins per year. So right away, to me, that's kind of a strike against Dogecoin. Now, the other piece in here that I think is nowhere. Did I go through them all? I think I may have. Oh, yeah, there's one other little piece here that I want you to pay attention to. It's kind of hard to, I have to explain it. So for these bottom two here, you see that on Bitcoin, it's got 21 billion or 21 million coins maximum. And right now, actually, let's do Litecoin. I'm sorry. Litecoin has 84 million maximum. That means there won't ever be more than 84 million. And if you're like me and you actually lost Litecoin, there won't be 84 million anyway because it'll be less than that. Right now, there is only 66 million Litecoin. They are still mining the rest. The other 18 million are still being mined. And at a certain point, right around 2040, or 2140, that will cease to exist, the mining process of it. The one that's different here is Ripple. Okay, this is why I'm really scared about Ripple. Ripple has 100 billion tokens or coins, whatever. I think that's just crazy, an absurd number. Only 45 billion of those are in circulation. That means that the other 55 billion are being held by the firm, being held by Ripple Corp. And to me, that's scary because should they decide to sell all at once, Ripple's no longer at 47. It's going to be like 10 cents. It's going to crash. Obviously, they wouldn't sell it all at once, but there's always that influence of them continually selling their inventory. Now, if you look at Dogecoin on here, it is by far, without a doubt, the heaviest one on this list. You have 124 billion of them already. Billion, okay? So let me go back and talk about what Elon Musk said, because I think that this is kind of the fuel for the whole cryptocurrency movement as we speak right now. Elon has been issuing tweet after tweet after tweet. I could bring up his Twitter feed if you guys ever want to see, humor at its finest. It's Elon, and there's actually these great. Let me see if I can find. There's one in particular I want to show you, but I didn't prepare it. With Elon Musk, and he's like Mufasa, and he's lifting up the Dogecoin guy. There it is. Here, I'll just put this whole page over here. Sorry, hopefully no X-rated stuff comes up, but here is. I just typed in Doge meme Elon Musk, and one of the funnier ones is this one here. It's this. I'm gonna see if I get it full screen. He's this huge meme celebrity now, where he's holding up the Dogecoin, and basically he's pumping it and pumping it and pumping it, and the whole industry is full of these just hilarious memes. Now there's Snoop Doge. I don't know if you guys saw that one, which was literally somebody taking a Snoop Dogg album and putting Doge on there, and now this is blowing up. What happens here is it brings in, and I apologize for being condescending, unwashed, uninformed, uneducated investors who are piling into an asset class. Much like I would say the GameStop buyers from Robinhood, or not just Robinhood, but anybody who bought into that hype. If you weren't there early in the first couple of days of it, you're toast. You're left holding the bag. I think that Bitcoin at some point is not Bitcoin, Dogecoin at some point is like that as well. I mean, here's another great one of Dogecoin. I don't know if you can see this. There's so many great ones here. But I love this one. The Dogecoin standard and the global financial system. And it's saying it's sweeping it over. No, it's not, right? It's a different ball game, right? Dogecoin I don't think is the competitor there. Now, what Elon Musk did to help fuel this, and he's quoted, I think it was on TMZ, where he says, look, I think the people have spoken. The people want a digital system. And, why not Dogecoin? He goes, why I was tweeting all the time about Dogecoin is because you have a cryptocurrency that was started as a joke to make fun of the crypto world. And wouldn't it just be the ultimate irony if what started as a joke became the standard? Here's the rub. If you're watching this right now and you think Dogecoin is the answer and you're thinking Elon Musk is pumping this to the moon because it's the greatest thing out there, then why didn't Elon Musk say, I will accept Dogecoin for my Teslas, and why didn't he buy $1.5 billion worth of Dogecoin? Do you know why? Because it's crap. It has no utility. Now, if you look at use cases, all right, you're thinking this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Elon Musk is saying it's going to be the standard, and all these tweets are coming out saying it's the new standard. Elon is messing with the people. How do we know? Well, if you look here at Blocktivity, Blocktivity will tell you how active specific networks are, right? So you saw, those who watched this show in the past know the only reason I'm big on EOS in a major way is because of this right here. Look at the activity on the network, right? It is 78 million transactions in the last 24 hours. No other cryptocurrency comes close to that. It's almost 10 times the next cryptocurrency out there. So if we're looking for a currency that's going to replace the dollar and become a digital currency out there using swipe it and buy your mocha latte, EOS to me is the absolute front runner because of the transaction speed of under 1 second and also the scalability. It can now handle a lot of transactions. Now let's scroll down the list here and see where our other names pile on here. Remember, EOS is doing 78 million transactions the last 24 hours. What else do we have? We'll go down here. Here you got Stellar Lumens, did 2.5 million. Ethereum, 1.2 million transactions. Bitcoin, only 900,000 transactions. You're thinking to yourself, well, that's not really that many transactions considering, Visa does something like 2 or 3 or 4,000 a second. Oh, these guys pale in comparison. It's a start, right? They're building. But I still don't see Dogecoin on there. Let's look further. You've got other ones. So there's Digibyte. Digibyte's been booming lately. I own Digibyte. Did 815,000 transactions. Bitcoin Cash did 700,000 transactions, and I keep going. I don't see Doge yet. Here's Ripple. Right? Remember, Ripple is the one who's supposed to sweep the financial world, take over global payment systems. It only did 153,000 transactions. Right? Only 150, and that's not much. So down here, we see Dogecoin doing 134,000 transactions. Not that it's insignificant or zero, but what's interesting to me is it's nowhere near the competitive level of your top participants up here. I would say if you want to be in the game, you got to have, around 1 million transactions a day. Well, you're seeing Tron all of a sudden has been moving up this list and getting better. They've been pushing and taking their money that they got when they did their initial sale and putting that in infrastructure, even though I think that Justin's son is a little bit eccentric and always plugging himself. Tron is building, right? So to me, I look at what the hype behind this whole Dogecoin thing, and I say, you probably should just step away from it. You probably should look at it as a hype, a pump and dump. Again, if Elon Musk was truly buying this, then he would truly supporting this, then he would have bought that cryptocurrency. This is the same thing that you're going to see with things like GameStop. It's going to be a big spike up and probably a big spike down. We have this common misbelief by the unwashed retail investor that if something's cheap, that it can go to $47,000 like Bitcoin. It'll be the next Bitcoin. As I tried to show you here with these numbers, the reason Bitcoin's at $47,000 is because of scarcity. 21 million only. And you have no limit on Dogecoin. Don't ever think that Dogecoin will be $47,000 per coin or per token. It's not going to happen. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys that one. I think that it's an important piece to look at because when we look at the value of something, people are going, oh, is it 3 cents and it went to 7? Yeah, congrats. You did well. Take your money and I would say if you hold Dogecoin right now, I would wait a little bit. I think you'll probably see it continue to move up a little bit, but I wouldn't be putting my eggs in that basket that thing's going to get to $1. I just don't really see it happening. Alan's absolutely right. You can actually go through Google and kind of see what people are searching for. Alan says, if you look at the search frequency on Dogecoin versus Bitcoin, it's pretty evident that retail is searching it up and piling into it. And it's not just that. It's that Elon Musk almost every single day has been tweeting out about Dogecoin. But to me, I live my life this way, that actions speak louder than words. So you can say something and you can mess around, but until you actually do something, you may as well just shut up. Your talk is trash, in my opinion. He's messing with the retail population. He's having fun with this. He even said in the interview, he goes, look, this is extremely dangerous. I stay out of it if you can't handle risk. Don't put all your eggs in that basket. He goes, at some point, there will be a cryptocurrency that is the currency of the people. Could it be Dogecoin? Right now, Dogecoin would be the dark horse long shot. It just doesn't have the key characteristics that we would need for it to be that big in the marketplace. It doesn't have the speed of execution. It doesn't have the settlement time. It doesn't have inflation protection, right? In fact, it's inflating because it has an infinite supply. So, all right. Well, Alan says he also thinks the stock market is a scam. I'm a trader, and sometimes I think it's a scam as well. All right, any other questions you got for you on that one? I'd be happy to know. Wanted to just share that with everybody because I think that it's noteworthy to look at it from this perspective of risk and know what you're actually buying, and don't fall for the hype that this is the greatest thing ever and it's going to replace the US dollar. We can simply look at its current actions It's not having a lot of transactions. It's not why nobody's accepting Dogecoin except as tips on social media sites. That's pretty much all it's used for. So if you are interested in cryptocurrency and you want to buy into something that has a potential, find something that's serving a niche. Find something that's serving a market need. Brendan brought one to my attention a couple months back, and I'm absolutely kicking myself that I didn't buy it at $7. I had it on my screen at $7, and that's Polkadot. Polkadot's looking at making, we'll call it, for layman's work here, we'll call it almost a universal blockchain where you can have interoperability between blockchains and making it much simpler for people to write to those blockchains. That's an application. EOS is looking from a transactional perspective. I think that is a utility case. Bitcoin, it's a store of value. That's their use case. You look at something like Civic, right? Civic is trying to work on a blockchain-based identification system, right? Where you have your a public key and a private key, and that's your identity, and that's how you'll be communicating and transacting. To me, that's a use case. So there's a lot of great use cases for cryptocurrency, but you can't just jump on something because somebody says it's going to go up. I've seen more people go bankrupt because of that. Now, what you'll read about in the media is the few who made a ton of money because those guys are going to the media agency saying, I made a ton of money. You usually don't hear about people who lose a ton of money in these marketplaces because they just curl up in embarrassment and never want to be talking to anybody. All right, Federal Reserve has the ability to ban crypto. That Rajesh sent that one in. It's an interesting one. Could they ban crypto? In theory, they could ban crypto, and the way it would happen would be pretty drastic. They would actually probably implement fines and penalties for any business doing transactions or accepting cryptocurrency payments. That's pretty much the only way that you can ban it, because I can go on exchanges around the world and I could buy different cryptocurrencies. Right? You can't stop it. It's a digital system, right? Redemption of those might be a challenge. What are they going to do? Are they going to say, if we catch you, transacting in Bitcoin, it's a 10-year prison sentence? I'll tell you this, if that were the case, I would probably back off of crypto a little bit because this little skinny guy, I ain't doing well in prison, I can tell you that. Other than that, it's hard to stop it. And I think that what would happen is there would be a revolt because what it would show is government oversight, and obviously we know governments are screwed up and there's probably going to be oversight anyway. But I think what you'll get is some sort of agreement, some merger where the Federal Reserve is working with cryptocurrencies, the taxation is there. I think that's really what they want, is to make sure they have the taxation. See, the power the Fed has is they can manipulate that dollar anytime they want. They can drop it 50% tomorrow night. Boom, done. Just hook up with the Treasury, and Federal Reserve just says it's worth half as much. Done. You have no choice. Can't do that with crypto, which is what the appeal is, and I think it's going to gain more and more popularity. Let's see. Do I think EOS is still a good investment? Les says, Dan Larimer, who is the guy who he's the guru in the industry who started Stellar, he started EOS and a few other ones. He was really getting a bad reputation because what he does is he goes and he starts up these cryptocurrencies, and as soon as they start to gain traction, he leaves. And then there's another guy, Brock, Dan, I think it's Dan Brock. Something Brock. He's just a crazy eccentric guy who is one of the ones who founded EOS as well. My only issue is this. I still have a large position in EOS, and I haven't liquidated it. And the reason for that is I believe that there still is potential out there. I haven't seen any cryptocurrency come close to the number of transactions per day that EOS can do. Well, I think what's missing is just them getting a marketing person in there and gaining acceptance. I mean, I'll tell you what, they boast that there's no transaction fees. So if I'm a business, I would much rather you pay me using something like EOS because I don't pay transaction fees versus every time I go use my Visa card, I got to pay 3%. Right? That merchant loses 3%. As a merchant, I'm going to love saving 3% on every transaction. That's huge for me. So the incentive is there. I just don't see why there hasn't been adoption of it. And unfortunately, I'm not on that side of the world. But I think that there's a lot of potential there. I'm just not putting all my eggs in that basket. And I've shown you guys my pie chart before of different cryptocurrencies. See if I can bring it up here. I usually don't like showing these things on the air, but we'll take the values out. I don't want to show you the values of the... Give me just 2 seconds here and see if I can bring this one up for you. I've definitely moved some stuff around recently, so the accounts have switched a bit. But as I bring up the pie chart here, We will take the values away from you. I don't want you guys to see the numbers there. All right. There you go. So I'll share that screen with you. And here's, so someone's asking about the positions. Here is, actually, I think, let's do, hold on one second. I want to take out the, goodness. I got to do a couple little things here, Don. Okay. So, there it is. Here is the pie chart I was telling you about. So I have 3% of mine in EOS, which is, small. Actually, right now, Bitcoin is just, because of the recent move, is accelerated. I should balance that out. I've got 52% of my portfolio in Bitcoin. That Ethereum chunk is now gone, right? It's 19.9% is what it used to be. I sold 100% of that on Saturday with the intent to buy back in within a week. So by next Friday, or by this Friday, I'm hoping to jump back into Ethereum, preferably at a lower price than what I got out at, which was $17.28. But you can see I've got some other ones here: Golem, Dash, Monero, Litecoin, Ripple, I've got Tron. I've got a bunch of other little slices, but you can see the pie slices are very, very small, right? I'm putting my assets in the ones I believe have the greatest potential. Not maybe right now, but long term. Dogecoin might have the greatest potential over the next week or two, but I think it'll fizzle out and go right back down. I think Ethereum, I think Bitcoin have tremendous potential going forward, and there's a couple other small ones that have done very well recently, like Golem. Right? Golem has really jumped up, so has Digibyte, etc. All right. Cool. Let's see. I got a bunch of other questions coming in here. Don't sell Bitcoin, buy more of the others, Merlin. Big Ev, we won't disclose amounts, but I'm just going to say I have a lot in there. I have enough that you're like, okay, that's a pretty sizable chunk. And it really is a result of what's happened since, you look back at August and all of a sudden everything has just gone parabolic to the tune of, 3, 4, 5x. And that does a lot for your portfolio. My initial gut is to lighten up a little bit and take some of that off the table, but I'm leaving all of it. I'll buy back in Ether. That account I'm going to keep with my original starting amount. We'll leave it right where it's at. Brendan says I own all of those except for Tron. I just hate Justin's son a lot. Perfect. I'm hoping that you guys don't think I'm showing you this saying you need to buy these ones. What I'm really trying to illustrate here is the diversification, right? I want to make sure that if you are building a portfolio, it's important to have no overweighting in one. And I'm not so concerned with Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin will be around forever unless something happens from a regulatory perspective or they break it. I think that maybe my portfolio should be more balanced out here. But, you should always spread stuff around, especially the ones like Dogecoin. If I were to buy Dogecoin right now, I would only buy $1,000 worth of it because that's what I do for new entrants into the portfolio. I'll buy 1,000 and just see how it performs. And I don't put big positions in speculative stocks, and I personally believe that, or speculative cryptos, and I personally believe that Dogecoin is, right, at this point, is all hype, especially when you look at the history that it was actually started as a joke. I think that's kind of funny. Okay, let me see. Scroll back here. I had some questions. Tide crypto. Yeah. Tom, that's great. I wish I could share that one on the screen. Tom says he's responding to Alan because there is, obviously the topic of taxation and the IRS, etc. And Tom says, IRS will add a line to the tax form, hidden crypto. And you have to put a line on there. It wouldn't surprise me to see that happen out there. All right. The dog crap coin. Gregory says, how is our dog crap coin doing today? It's down a little bit today. I think it was down to the tune of about 8%. But to be expected when you see things moving 50, 80, 100% in a day, it's bound to come back down. Alan, you mean from a dollar amount? Yeah, I'd rather not go into the dollar amounts, but I'll just say it's this very large position. Yeah, it's. I will say this. Okay, just this is the only clue I'll give. I've said before on how because of the FDIC insurance and SIPC insurance, I'll never let an account go beyond the thresholds of that insurance protection. This account is way more than those limits and thresholds. Okay. And Brendan, you said something interesting earlier. Of course, you always say interesting things, but it was dealing with, let me make sure I get this one, Grayscale. So Grayscale is the one that was doing the Bitcoin Trust and the Ethereum Trust, and they have a list to do a whole bunch of different other ones. And you're right, there is no Dogecoin Grayscale Trust. That should tell you right there that there's not a lot of belief in it as a whole going forward. All right, let me see if I missed any questions here. Alan's is going to shut down crypto exchanges. Do you think EOS is good? No. And I'm looking for question marks. I'm just scrolling up looking for question marks. So, okay, cool. All right, well, that will do it for there. If you, I am blushing. I'm not blushing. I just, Can you talk about why I own Litecoin? Yeah, I'll talk about why I own Litecoin. I think Litecoin, I don't believe it's the answer long term. All Litecoin is took Bitcoin's code, chopped it up, and basically did a fork of it and said, all right, we're going to now issue 4 times as many. We'll make it 4 times as fast. I at the beginning, I loaded up on it because I really felt like they were doing better marketing job, right? You had Litecoin kind of being accepted in some places next to Bitcoin. That seems to have petered out a little bit, or at least stalled a little bit. I actually like Charlie Lee, the guy who originally created it. He seemed pretty good. I was enjoying watching his talks about Litecoin. Of course, he dumped all of it around $350, saying that this would happen. He goes, it'll be above $350 someday, but that could be a long time. He goes, it's been a pretty hyped up market, and I wish I would listen to him as well. So I like Litecoin. I do think it has some retail utility because the block time is 2.5 minutes, right? That's more feasible. If I'm at a restaurant and I want to pay with Bitcoin, I'm now going to be stuck there for anywhere between 10 and 60 minutes to pay. If I'm using Litecoin, I'm looking at maybe 2.5 minutes to 15 minutes for my check to settle on the blockchain. So that was appealing to me. I do have quite a bit of that. What you saw is about 14% of the portfolio. So I'm just keeping it. I may actually rotate out of some of that and move into some other projects. Like I really think that what's missing in my portfolio is Polkadot. What am I going to rebalance into? Les, that was what I just mentioned. I would probably take some of the Bitcoin, move it into Polkadot. Also, the Ethereum slice, I think, at right around 20% of my portfolio is probably enough. Part of me kind of wants to have more of that. I do really think that in the long term, Ethereum is going to just dominate. I think that they may, unless they have a systemic failure and they can't scale it up with any future revisions, barring those types of mistakes, I think Ethereum becomes the backbone. If you look at the internet, right, the internet's controlled by our governments. The blockchain, or in this case, the ecosystem of cryptocurrency that's being built onto the Ethereum blockchain kind of makes Ethereum the holder of the backbone of, decentralization. And if they can continue to maintain that foothold, and there are new entrants, there are new people trying to take that over, I think that Ethereum ends up being the big daddy of them all. So if you're looking for programmable blockchain and things like that, for me, that's Ethereum. If you're looking for store of value and digital gold, that's Bitcoin. If you're thinking transactionally, that's probably going to be something like EOS, maybe even Ripple if they can get past this SEC lawsuit. Oh yeah, actually at Cardano, I haven't updated the value of the position. Cardano is on here too, but it's just not listed. That one has just really done well lately. It's actually moved very quickly into one of the larger holdings in my portfolio. Anyway, I'm interested in seeing your computer microphone setup. Are you talking, Larry? Are you talking to broadcast this show? My desk is an absolute mess right now, so I'm not going to spin the camera and show you. But maybe I can do some special. If you have a specific question, Larry, you can always just email me. Just go to TraderMerlin@gmail.com. I know we've had some people. If you're talking about my trading system versus the broadcasting system, those are two very, very different things here. So if you're interested in one or the other, you can always send in and ask me more questions. On that note, it's 34 after. Let me go and look at some listener questions that came in, and I will hopefully be able to answer those as well today. Now, we talk about the crypto accounts, and there was one that came. No, Richard, I'm wearing this tie because it's if you notice, it's math formula. It's equation. Since I was showing a whole bunch of numbers, and to me cryptocurrency is all math and numbers, I thought, you know what? Let's be appropriate. No, I didn't comb. I was going to see if I could mousse my hair up and do like the what's his name from Back to the Future? Scott. Great Scott. Oh, can't even remember his name. Doc. No, I can't remember his name. Anyway, we won't do a Back to the Future reference today. All right. Let me go to the listener questions. So, Sean, hope you got your long-winded answer on Dogecoin. Personally, if you want to just get rich quick and you think you're going to get that flyer, go for it. I think it's moved up a little bit too much and too risky. Put your money in something that's going to grow for you at a more acceptable rate. All right. Walter, What do you think about Tilray? Another squeeze, overvalued. I know they have been doing a lot of cannabis deals with different countries, and that could be why it's up so much lately. But even though I'm bullish on it, and I feel the way it's been going up is not proper. All right, let's check Eric, Emmett Brown. Thank you, guys. For some reason, I just had a momentary skip on my... Thank you, Kevin and Stephanie. Yes. Great Scott. Yeah, Richard, I'm far from Einstein. All I know is... Einstein, I am definitely not. So basically, let's look at Tilray. I am long-term very bullish on the whole cannabis sector. I'm going to start with MJ here just because this is one that we've been talking about from a very bullish perspective. And, we talked about this during the election, right? Back in November, it's like, hey, if the Democrats win this, we know that they are pro-cannabis. And if we get a controlled House and Senate by Democrats, the potential to see... I hope so. I know some of you are probably anti. I am pro. I think that the benefits far outweigh the drawbacks of legalization on a federal level for cannabis. I think it would get some people out of prisons who probably don't need to be there. I mean, people buying an ounce of pot all of a sudden serving prison sentences next to murderers and crystal meth addicts. To me, that's a totally different ballgame. So, I am a big fan of legalization because I think what happens is as soon as we get federal legalization of cannabis, now all of a sudden we can get FDA testing on a big scale on the medicinal impacts of CBDs, THC, cannabinoids, all of the different tertiary pieces that go along with cannabis and hemp. I am a big supporter of it, and I have been for quite some time. Of course, when we were looking at Tilray and MJ back in 2019, you guys might remember I'm saying, hey, you know what? I'm still bullish, but the trend is down. You can't argue this trend. And I said, we'll wait for it to reverse. Now, the first time we really identified it as reversing was right here where this line is about 1260. I don't know, I think it's Mike LaRusso who is probably with us today. He was saying the same thing. He said, where would you buy? I said, 1260. Well, it broke it, rallied up to almost 16, drifted back down. I'm still bullish on it, right? It's one of those buy and hold for the long-term pieces. The question now becomes, has it moved too far too fast? That's a risk that you're going to have to take. Maybe what you do now is if you own Tilray or MJ, so this is MJ, let me put on Tilray. You can do a couple different things to protect your portfolio. All right? One of the things you could be doing here if you think it's moved up too far is just sell some covered calls. If you own Tilray right now, you could sell some covered calls. And let's say you sold a strike of $50. That means if it gets to 50, you have to get rid of your shares. But you're also going to be capitalizing on... If it drops down, you're still going to get paid. You'll make some money and increase your rate of return. So I would be selling covered calls if you own it. If you don't own it and you think it's moved up too much and probably going to sell off, then why don't you look at some level and start selling some puts, right? If you sold some puts down here, let's say the $26 mark, you would collect some money. I don't know how much, probably not that much, but you would collect some money. And what would happen is if it drops down to 26, you would now be forced to buy the shares at a price that you're happy buying it at anyway. The other side of this is, well, if it doesn't get down there, you get that money and you get to keep it. And sell, if you're selling puts, do 30 days or less. Now, let me add volume on here because I haven't watched the volume on this one, but I will check the volume. This massive spike you saw in Tilray today, this is obviously in reaction to companies that reported earnings. You guys saw we had Cannabis growth, and I believe I'll check the earnings that I have for you guys here in just a second. But yeah, we have CBC reported, and I believe it's so funny. It was ACV reported the other day. Aurora, I think, reported on Monday. So here is let's check out CBC real quick. CDC. Right now, all of a sudden, I'm drawing a blank. CGC, Cannabis growth, Canopy growth. Sorry. CGC, I had to try to remember the ticker symbol off the top of my head. Here's CGC. All right, they reported earnings today before market open, and you can see the reaction to it was pretty good. There's a question about which ones do I like. I have not spent enough time to dive into the minutia on the different companies. I claim ignorance there. I would be using MJ. Right, I would be using MJ as my proxy for it. If you're somebody like Brendan, who I know is way deeper into the weeds here, no pun intended, and paying a lot more attention to specific companies, then he can probably mention a few to target. I know he was a big fan on Tilray, Aurora, CBC, CGC. These are the big ones, the big names. The whole industry right now is just booming, and I don't see this stopping. If we get the House and the Senate to legalize federally, MJ it'll double overnight because of the international aspects to it, right? It just basically means the doors are opening to what these companies can do with regards to sale of products and services of cannabis, like distillates, extracts, and all that around the world. And to me, that's a gold rush. It really is. All right. Alan G says, what if you don't want to deal with the capital down associated with selling naked? Well, obviously, if your broker even let you sell naked, but as long as you have the capital, right, cash covered, cash secured puts, you should be fine. How was the high? Richard, come on. Surprisingly, my cannabis days are long done, guys. Something happened in my mid-30s, which is really interesting. All through college, I'm from Northern California, where if you don't smoke weed, you're like the outcast. Right? You look against you like, oh, you don't smoke pot. Oh, you're crazy. So I don't know. I guess I did in my younger days, and something happened about 30 years old. I started getting massively paranoid, and then I just stopped. So, yeah, Brendan, I agree. I don't think it'll happen this year. I think right now, the main focus that they're going to try to put everything on is going to be on getting COVID under control. But I do think in the next 4 years, you'll probably see it. I hope so. It's about time. Not just for the legalization and the research, but also, I think our criminal justice system, our prisons are an absolute joke. It's just, once you made it private, like there's incentive to keep these people in prison, and some people really don't deserve to be there. Others do. All right. Let's go to more listener questions here. I want to make sure I get to... Oof, boy, time is flying. Bear with me as I bring up my question sheet to put together. All right, this is the one I want to get to since we were touching on cryptocurrencies earlier. And again, if you guys have questions that you want me to answer on the show, like in the chat, just start your question with question marks so I can quickly go through, just like Serge P did right there. All right. Rudy says, you mentioned Coinbase for Bitcoin, but I can't seem to be able to get my driver's license verified when submitting for verification. I've tried through my phone, through my PC various times, and it keeps getting denied. I've also tried to get a hold of customer service. I got to laugh right there. Customer service on Coinbase? Sorry. I've also tried to get a hold of customer service, and they don't return emails. I don't know if I want to go with Coinbase at this point. If I can't even deposit due to not being able to get my identity verified, how can I possibly buy Bitcoin with them? I looked at their reviews and seems that many people are having this problem. Any suggestions? Sadly, this is a common problem in this space. You can go to Kraken, you can go to Binance, you can go to Coinbase. You won't find a help line, a help number, or anything. You'll find some emails, and usually it takes some time. Right now, I think that the challenge you're going to face with somebody like Coinbase, Rudy, is they are so overwhelmed right now because of the influx of Robinhood traders leaving Robinhood and now opening Coinbase accounts. I just don't think that they can keep up with what's going on. Keep trying. I actually like Coinbase. I haven't had any issues. I had a login issue before. They fixed that one fairly quickly. The other option that you can do in the U.S., there's three kind of major ones in the U.S., number one is obviously Coinbase. Number two would be Kraken. Kraken used to be garbage from a trading platform perspective. I thought it was horrible. They have since actually really upgraded their stuff, and it looks much better. The worst one in the U.S., at least when I was doing the class back in 2017, I may log in just to check and see if they've gotten any better, because I could not believe that they called themselves a trading platform. It was an absolute joke. I could have gone in there and fixed that thing in a heartbeat, but Gemini, the Winklevoss twins. Now, they have billions of dollars, and I'm pretty sure that they've upgraded now. So those are three options for you. Kraken, I had an issue with them, a login issue, and they were actually pretty good at helping me fix that one. Now they're based, I think, was it Jersey? Either Jersey or San Francisco in the Bay Area where they moved to or have an office there. Now, the other side of this is once you open up Coinbase or Kraken or Gemini, you have to face what Stephanie in chat just posted, which is Coinbase's fees are horrible. Yes, totally true. Here's the issue. Let me see if I can bring this up for you. I know I have to log in yet again and a lot of times it's going to ask me to do a authenticator. So bear with me as I log in here. Hopefully it just gets me right in. Oh, already logged me in. All right, so I'm going to bring this up here. And I'll go to the home. One thing you have to know about Coinbase is this. When you're looking at Coinbase's basic platform, which is this one here. If you just go to Coinbase.com and you go to buy, so let's say you go to buy and sell, right? And I can go through here and type in, I don't know, $10,000. Well, let's say $1,000 of Bitcoin. If I click preview buy, you'll notice that the fees are pretty substantial here. So that should cost me, there you go, good. It's not showing you my pertinent information, but they're charging me a $14 fee, right? That's like a 1.5%, but that's not the damage. The damage that they get you for on this site is that you're paying about a 1.5% fee, but you're going to pay the market price. You're always going to buy at market, which is the higher price, right? So and also I've noticed that the spreads are bigger on Coinbase than Coinbase Pro. So let me see if I can spot this for you. I'll do both of them at the same time. Bear with me as I log in again to another account. Pro, Coinbase.trade, and I think I can get it up here for you guys. Hopefully I don't have any login issues. All right, so these are both live accounts, and all right, so let me show you full screen. So right now, you can see if we go to Bitcoin, it's 46,916 by 912, right? That was the spread. If I refresh here, 46,912, right? That was the price I could buy it at if I bought right now. Let me just do it. Oh, now of course it's going to change. Do $1,000, preview the buy. Look at 47,141. But if I go back here to this one, it's 47,141 is what they're going to buy me at. It's right now at 46,900. That's a $200 difference per Bitcoin. $240 difference per Bitcoin. Do you guys all get that? To me, that's huge here. So what you want to do is you want to open your Coinbase account, right? Go open your Coinbase account and then move your assets to Coinbase Pro. Now that said, there's also two different fee structures here. You have what's called a maker and you have what's called a taker of fees. A maker is where you do a limit order below current price. And Bitcoin's moving so fast, just buy at a price below the current asking price and you'll get filled usually in a minute or two. If you do a market order, it's called a taker, meaning you're taking liquidity out of the marketplace. So a maker provides liquidity by putting a limit order in, a taker takes it out. A taker pays more. Could be 0.25% more. It doesn't seem like much, but 0.25% on 10 grand, it starts to add up real quick. Big Eb, and that's a great comment. He says, I don't understand why anyone uses Coinbase rather than Coinbase Pro. Did you know that before you started, Big Eb, or did you learn it from somebody that told you about it? Right? Because they don't nobody shows you that. There's no site that says, hey, the price you're paying right now is way above current market. I'll even refresh it here. Right? No one tells you that. So hopefully somebody told you or you discovered that on your own. I mean, I'll do it again just to real quickly refresh. So you guys know I'm not messing around with you. We'll do another $1,000. I'm going to hit preview buy. And it's telling me that the current price right now, 47,064. Right now, it's 46,835. That's $200 difference. Right. Well, there you go, Big Ed. I want my royalty check. No, good. And share that information, it really is important. These fees are significantly higher. Yeah, it used to be called GDAX, Stephanie. It used to be called GDAX. Now it's called Coinbase Pro. It's the same company. Literally, if you want to send your money over, it's instant. So if you open up an account at Coinbase, you automatically get pro.coinbase.com as well. And that really is a much better platform. This is, I would argue, is a professional platform where you have, the charts, you've got the time and sales, you have the bid and the ask, you have all the different entry types. It's great. It's a much better place to be. All right, let's see. Any other questions? Gary says, can you speak to TradeStation Crypto? I know I won't hodl the coins, and I'm okay with that. I've never used TradeStation for cryptocurrency. I should probably do it, but I already have so many different accounts. It'll blow your mind how many accounts I have. And I've actually, right now, I'm consolidating those down. I'm moving off of exchanges I don't normally use and trying to put those on the 4 exchanges I mentioned. Well, 3. Most of my assets that are on exchanges are going to be on Coinbase, Kraken, and Binance, are where I have the exchange holdings. The majority of it is on these guys, is on the little devices. Am I still bearish DraftKings? You know, I haven't looked at DraftKings in quite some time. Well, let's see. DKNG. No. I mean, right now, if you're looking at DraftKings, double top, my friend. I mean, this might be a good shorting opportunity from a double top perspective, but the trend is back in place. You know, I believe we were talking about it back in October, right? And we had a pretty significant drop. I mean, almost 50% decline in price. Now, I mean, that trend's back in place. The only issue is that peak, that double top, right? That's the only real problem I see. Yeah, my poor CPA. Shh, don't tell him. Actually, I do most of the work. I just present him all the documents and everything. But all right, let me see if I had any last-minute questions. I'm trying to wrap up before 3 o'clock. Otherwise, Big Eb's going to get all excited that we did another 1-hour show. All right, I'm going to read one more, which is not crypto. This is from Alpha Intelligence, usually joining us, and he's always messaging me, so thank you so much for the comments, Alpha. He says, have you noticed that when you get stopped out on a stock, it reverses the way it was supposed to without you? I'm going to leave that one hanging because I know that everybody in this room right now has had that happen where you set your stop loss and it drops down to it, right? And you're watching the level 2 or the time in sales and you're like, oh, no. Oh, it took me on. Oh, well. You know, I did what I was supposed to do, right? And you were like, there's one transaction, one trade that prints at that price, and it was your order that printed. And all of a sudden it just goes boom in the direction you thought. Oh, my God. If I had a T-shirt for every time that's happened to me, I would need to have like a Kardashian-style walk-in closet for all those T-shirts. I mean, that's how many times it's happened to me. So yes, it always happens. It's part of the game. Let me finish reading this question. Let's see. Do you place hard stops when you trade stocks, or do you leave them off until price leaves the proximal line? Or do you use options and not have stops? Do you not want the stop hunting programs to see your stops? Tell you what, I'm not worried about stop hunting programs. I think that's a little bit overplayed in the media. You know, when you look at my order types, if I'm trading equities, you know, maybe I'm in 1,000 shares or 2,000 shares of something. I'm not the guy they're looking for. That's not that big a deal to them, I don't believe. They'll do a lot better by getting somebody who's got a much bigger order. Do you place hard stops when you're trading stocks? If I can't sit there and watch them, absolutely. I'll put a stop lot. Like if I am trading here at home and I got to run to the office or got to run and go do something, go for a walk or something, I will put a hard stop on it, absolutely. If I'm trading options, generally, you know, I guess that's not true. I would say I'm probably 50-50 now on buying versus selling. So with the buying, I'm not too concerned about it. I know my maximum loss is what I paid for the option, but it's usually going to be based off of a level or a price point. And if the underlier gets past that price point, I will just close out. Let's see. Oh, you like it? So you like the CliK one? It's an interesting one. Let me bring that one up here for the viewers at home before I wrap up. 7 minutes left, and Brendan's got to throw in PSYK. Ah, yes. And we talked about Cannabis. Is it? Well, it's not. Is that the Canadian? Is it just Canadian exchange, Brendan? I remember I saw you post about that, and I think it's very interesting that you're going to have a psychedelics ETF, but I don't get that ticker symbol, so I'm guessing it's not on my exchange. Okay, let me go to your economic calendar for tomorrow. We'll wrap things up here, and then we'll take it from there. I want to show you this one because you guys saw what happened with CGC today, right? I showed you the chart of CGC. It was a tremendous move on CGC. There's Canopy growth, was up 15% today. Big move. Earnings, obviously, well received. Let me ask you, how do you guys think they did on earnings? I mean, they're up 15% today. You think that they did good? Think they did well with earnings? Let me show you. It's pretty funny. This is why, again, I always tell people be super careful with earnings and don't even trade them. All right, here is you see the earnings, Canopy growth. They were expected to lose 21 cents per share. Yeah, they lost 98 cents per share. They're 366% worse than expected. You would think that they'd be getting clobbered. Nope, let's reward them with a nice pop to the upside. It shows that 11.97 was actually 15%. Pretty impressive. You had Twitter report earnings as well. They were barely up. And then Cisco Systems, which is probably the more significant of these because it's a member of all three indexes, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Dow. That's down 3% on today's trading. Move on to your earnings calendar for tomorrow. General Motors, you got Coca-Cola, you have Teva Pharmaceuticals, and a couple other companies here which probably aren't in your portfolio. I'm not even going to try to say the name here. Sometimes they come out with there's ticker symbols and names. I'm just going to let you guys try to pronounce this one because sometimes I'll probably just end up saying it wrong and it will just come across as totally wrong. But yeah, the NLY reporting earnings, I'll let you guys say that name. Economic announcements for tomorrow, the 10th. Well, we've got a lot for the U.S., actually. You have Powell speaking. You also have CPI numbers, wholesale inventories, mortgage delinquencies, crude oil inventories. It is going to be a pretty busy day for the U.S. tomorrow. You also have Governor Bailey speaking for the Bank of England tomorrow, and German WPI numbers. Other than that, it's predominantly a USA type of trading day. All right. Perfect. Oh, we got that one. All right, so that's going to do it. I have no guests. So text message like from my friend Sean, they brought in the whole Dogecoin topic, which I brought up today. Again, if you have a specific thing you want to know about, a question about something particular, I might be able to stretch that into a whole show, which I always love doing. I really enjoy learning about these things deeper. So I've known about Dogecoin for quite some time, but in looking at some of the facts and figures, especially the number of coins out there, it was one of those things that I think was noteworthy and important to bring to everyone's attention is why you don't want to get caught up in that hype of Dogecoin, because it is a dangerous asset. It is a crazy thing that could be detrimental to your portfolio. So we got to be careful out there. Hopefully you learned something today on the little Dogecoin special we did, and I'm gonna go here and play with some effects. I got all these screenshots and setups I do. Gotta use them more. All right, so again, I have no guests for tomorrow. If you'd like to request a specific topic, you can always email me. TraderMerlin@gmail.com is the easiest way to do that, or put your comments down below the YouTube video. It is actually 2:57, which means I'm gonna get out of here a little bit early today. I know, no 1 hour show. Apologize for that, but I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. If you did, again, thumbs up the program, hit subscribe button. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Take care.